Welcome to Raider Talks. I am your host, Art Navarrete, here alongside Nick Ibarra. Today we're going to talk about a couple different things. First, starting off with Sports Illustrated coming out with the power rankings, and the Raiders are put at 18th.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I don't see how we're a playoff team. Everyone's coming back. We get the best wide receiver in football. You know, I know our division's stacked up just a little bit, but like I said, we're a playoff team, and for us to take a big step back, we didn't lose anybody key. We got major coaching additions, player additions into our team. Front office with Ziegler and them. So I don't understand how we just take a complete step back. I mean, we're going to show them in September. What Raider football is all about, and we'll be right where we need to be. But after free agency and going into the draft, 18th, the bottom of the league,
And we had one of the best free.
yeah,
it
doesn't make sense.
So, like, how does that happen? How are we 18th? I'm just asking. How does that happen?
I don't. That's
Who
what
are the
I'm
Riders?
saying.
Who are the Riders?
You got Chargers up there, top 10, not the playoff team. You've got Broncos up there, not a playoff team. All they added was just a quarterback. These two teams didn't make the playoffs. And, we did. We kept the same team that made the playoffs. Like I just said, added the best wide receiver in football, added some really good pieces into this into the lineup. And then you just okay, well, I mean, they're not going to compete with anybody in the division, so let's just put them 18th. I think that's a little wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me how we're 18th. Like you said, a playoff team, a team that made a run, a team with the number one wide receiver in football. Mm-hmm. People are arguing that Cooper Kupp is number one. Okay, 1A, 1B, whatever Devontae is. You got a top 5 slot receiver in Renfro.
Yeah.
You got a top 10 to 12 quarterback, since people are complaining about top 10, but top 10 to 12 quarterback for sure, top 12. I think he's top 10 for sure, 100%. And then I think we got a running back who ran really good at the end of the year. We got a lot of great pieces on offense. Top 3 tight end.
Yeah.
So top kicker.
Yeah.
Top punter. How
Special teams really
are
good.
we 18th? And according to MGM as well, according to sports betting, we're only expected to win 8.5 games. That
was the one too that was everybody else in the division is at 10.5 right now. Denver's at 10.5. Chiefs are at 10.5. Chargers are at 10.5. We're at 8.5. Everyone's.
Hey, we're gonna place our bets.
Everybody's saying, and I'm sports shows and these articles and stuff. Everyone's saying, oh well, last place in this division isn't bad. Might get you a wild card, but we're a playoff team from last year. We're a second place team that were a couple of bad games or a couple of good games away, or a couple erasing bad games.
Yeah.
From competing for the division, even though the Chiefs, kicked their butts, those 2 games, we
split the series with the Chargers.
Yeah.
And we swept the Broncos.
We swept Broncos.
Easy.
You go up and you say, hey, okay, let's say we beat the Bears. We don't lay an egg against the Bears. And then, another game. Well, then we're right there with the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So to do that, make our additions and everything, and not get some respect, that's kind of whatever, but we just got to show them.
Yeah, it's a little bit disrespectful in my eyes that, especially for Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, that they go out, make all these moves, and you put us at the 18th spot.
Yeah.
Obviously, inside the organization, the Raider players, they do not care about these, and we talked about it before, and we talked about it as well. We don't care about these either. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to discuss, who's writing these things, who is putting those odds up.
Yeah.
And it's just weird to me. And I think I'll be placing my bet on the Raiders to win more than 9 games.
Well, you go through
more than 8.5 games.
You go through the division, and I think no matter what, I'm a firm believer of if you won it the past year, it's yours. This is the Chiefs division still until someone takes it from them. So going into this season, it's the Chiefs division. Patty Mahomes is still there. Andy Reid is still there. But they did lose Tyreek Hill. They lost some speed. and they lost a big part of their offense. You know,
I think he's a bigger part than people think as well. And as a Raider fan, seeing him twice a year and occasionally watching their games, hoping they lose or just for division standings and all that. The Chiefs, Tyreek Hill is a bigger deal than people think. Tyreek Hill is a game changer. He's fast and it just changes the game.
Yeah.
And you saw what happened when we had Ruggs. It changed the game for us. Changed the game completely for us. And when he was gone, we had to run a different style of offense.
Yeah, our offense looked completely different.
So that speed is a game changer, and especially a guy like Tyreek Hill who has the speed, and he's a decent route runner as well.
Yeah.
And he just finds ways to get open. It's just even better. And that's a once in a lifetime talent in a way. And they just let him go like that.
Yeah.
And I see what Andy Reid's doing. He's like, you know what? He wants gone. We'll let him be. But I think it's going to hurt him. I think it's going to cost him.
You saw them. They did make the AFC Championship last year, but you saw them slow down just a little bit. You know, everything was a tiny bit more predictable of what they were doing. And, I mean, yeah, they kicked our butts twice. But just, you know, seeing other games and what they were doing, a lot of people were catching on.
Yeah.
You know, the Bengals, the AFC Championship, caught on. Hey, you're gonna sit there and run around for a quarter and a half? All right, cool. And then they came out and dominated and won that game in the AFC Championship. You know, they're taking a little step back, which is, you know, good for us, good for the division a little bit. Sure. Broncos, it just seems like they made one move. Hey, we're gonna go get Russell Wilson, and now all of a sudden they're a Super Bowl contending team. Like if Russell Wilson posted up a career year last year.
Yeah, like Russell Wilson's been good last 3 seasons. Has he been even good the last 3 seasons?
For the first 4 or 5
games.
games.
You know, Russell Wilson is a competitor. I'll give him that. He competes, but he hasn't been the Russell Wilson of the past.
No.
And first of all, I didn't think Russell Wilson's all that in general. I just think he's a competitor and he competes.
No, yeah.
But he doesn't have the speed he did back in the day. And he for sure doesn't have the arm.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's a guy that just gets you to the Super Bowl with the roster you have now.
You know, and then
for the Broncos.
I watched one little thing on YouTube, and it was I think it just came up. It was one of those shorts or whatever, and it came up and they did the advanced stats on the offensive and defensive from Denver and Seattle.
Yeah.
And they were like identical. So if he couldn't do it last year in Seattle with what he had, what makes you think he's going to come over here and do it over here?
Yeah, I mean, you got a guy in Jerry Jeudy who hasn't really proven that much in this league yet. And I think DK Metcalf, he got a hit back off season last year, but he's better than any wide receiver the Broncos have, right?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think DK Metcalf's better than Jeudy and Sutherland.
I think the talent the Seahawks have might be just like you said, the same or even better than the Broncos. And I don't know how it's going to correlate with Russell Wilson and the Broncos being Super Bowl contenders now.
Yeah, and I mean, at times they do look like they were a quarterback away. I think we did it in our pregame show for the Denver.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, this team, you know, with Drew Lock, whatever, he can get it there, but this team might be a quarterback away. But then you sit there and you look at, you know, the advanced stats and what they're doing, and it's kind of like you're jumping on the same ship. You know, you're sitting there. Hey, I'm gonna go from this to this. It's kind of the same. And now everybody in Denver is thinking, oh, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. This is it. But in my eyes, I'm not scared of Denver.
Yeah, me too. They got Russell Wilson. I was like, okay, this is going to be a fun division.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm definitely more worried about the Chiefs and the Chargers. And I think, personally, we're going to sweep the Broncos. We have their number the last couple of years. We have a really good team. And I think I'm not scared of them. We're going to sweep them like we did last year.
Yeah.
And not saying we're going to overlook them or anything. We're going to play hard. We're going to beat them. Mm-hmm. Chargers is a very talented team that's going to be talented for so many years with Herbert. Yeah. And that's going to be those are always going to be tough games.
Now,
Chiefs with Mahomes, always going to be tough games throughout all these years.
Chargers is the only one where I could sit there and say, okay, well they made some
they
right
made
moves. They made some right moves. You know, they went out and paid a buttload of money for J.C. Jackson. You know, and then you go trade for Khalil.
Yeah.
But then again, I think anyway in the AFC West, I don't care if we go into those games with no wins or we go into those AFC West games in first place. They're all big games, and
they're all close.
And no matter what talent's on both sides, it's a very fun, interesting, close game. And I think that's just going to be the way with everybody. Chargers can sit there, whoop everybody. Denver can sit there and whoop everybody. But then when we play them, it's going to be a really good, fun, interesting AFC West old school game.
Yeah.
And I think it's anybody's game. And I think for the first time, this is anybody's division.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a division that's stacked. Very talented. I think it's stacked on the Chargers, Raiders, and Chiefs end for sure.
Yeah.
Bronco in, I don't think you're stacked there.
I think there's still a couple pieces away.
I think you're a scrappy team. Mm-hmm. Very scrappy. You have a competitive guy at quarterback, a leader. Mm-hmm. And that's just an advantage, and that helps out in big games. And they're going to go out there and compete. I wouldn't be surprised if all four of these teams could sneak in this playoffs. And you know what I mean? Because they're all talented. But you never know. You never know. This is going to be a crazy AFC West and a crazy AFC when you got Josh Allen in it as well.
Well, yeah. No, yeah. This AFC is crazy. If you look outside of the AFC West, you got Joe Burrow, who's on the up and up. You got Josh Allen. You got Lamar Jackson, who's going to come back.
Lamar Jackson's a talented individual.
Well, I'm just, everybody says, top 5 quarterback. I don't think so, but.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but he's very talented. He definitely makes an impact on the game.
Yeah.
And the style of play. And it's definitely tough to stop him, but the Raiders beat him last year in the first game.
Yeah, and then, you have another up-and-comer for the Patriots, Mac Jones, who had showed glimpses, showed some signs.
Yeah, he's solid.
It's AFC is going to be really fun.
Yeah, if you can make it out of the AFC, it means you went through a gauntlet.
Yeah, and there's no
absolute gauntlet
there's
to
no
get
luck,
to that Super Bowl.
There's no anything. It's going to be fun. Whoever the 7 teams are to represent the AFC, they're going to deserve it. And it's going to be crazy. And I'm looking forward for us to be one of those teams.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy AFC West. How do you feel about the new overtime rules that got put in place? NFL putting the rules
for playoffs, right?
Playoffs. It's only playoffs only, which is kind of odd to me. But the rule is both teams get a possession.
Yeah, no matter what.
And if the first team scores a touchdown, second team got to score a touchdown. And then after that, whoever scores next wins. How do you feel about that? I don't mind it, don't hate it, but it don't matter to me.
You can see it both ways. If you sit there, it's not like you have no one to stop an offense. You're throwing out a defense out there.
That's what
stop them. You got 3 downs. Go stop them.
That's what frustrates me about how people have been talking about how Mahomes didn't get the ball against Brady. Josh Allen didn't get the ball against the Chiefs. Like there's no defense out there. Like it's just the offense out there. Like go stop them. Stop them. Back in the day when the game went to overtime, it was whoever got the first points wins the game.
And like defense is gonna even be more tired, and it might be one of those like, hey, you just 7 here, 7 here, 7 here, 7 here, and you just keep on like college football.
You keep playing, yeah.
I think if you were gonna do that, you should be like, okay, if you score a touchdown, you got to go for 2.
That's what I was thinking. You score a touchdown,
no field goals.
Yeah.
If you're gonna score a touchdown, you got to go for 2. You get it. It forces you.
But in the case that this is only playoff rules, then you can do that because I guess you can do what they're doing. But if it was regular season games, you know how many ties we would have?
Oh, yeah.
Lots of ties.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, why do you change the overtime rules from regular season to playoffs? It should be consistent all year long. You should find a even ground. Like you said, go for 2.
Or go for 2, or hey, because I didn't like the whole. I don't like the whole, because it's never. Until it affects us, it's just like you don't mind it, you don't whatever.
I told you the other day, my Raiders are gonna win a big game off this rule, and then we're gonna be all happy. We got
I love this rule. This is a great rule.
But I mean, either way, I feel like no matter how the rule goes or anything, I feel like you deserve the win if you score a touchdown first.
Yeah, if you sit there and score the touchdown, game should be over.
Yeah,
you had your chance. You had a chance.
You had 4 quarters of football.
Yeah,
4 quarters of football to get the job done. Mm-hmm.
But and those things,
and that's your fault for leaving it up to a coin
But they
toss.
don't even blame the defense.
I know
half of the time. Oh, that's like you said. That's messed up. That Patrick Mahomes didn't get a chance to touch the ball. Well, that's the defense's fault.
Yeah, you put a better defense out there.
I mean, Tom Brady's good. He led them in what's called, but That's the defense's fault. All you got to do is get a stop.
All you gotta do is stop him to hold him to a field goal.
Yeah, or
you know what I mean?
Or when they say, I don't like how a coin decides who's going to win this ball game. No, your players decide who's going to win this ball game.
If your defense happens to be on the field first in overtime, your defense is going to dictate whether you guys get the ball back or not.
Oh, yeah.
It's a team game. It's not just an offensive game.
Yeah.
So, for me, the rules, whatever, but I still feel like there's defense on the field, and it's dumb to change the rule just for guys like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
Just to see and in a case like that, two powerhouse quarterbacks go touch the ball in overtime.
I get it for entertainment purposes. I mean, people love that. People love seeing those guys touch the ball, and they want Josh Allen to get the ball one more time. See what he does. He had an amazing game. He had an amazing game.
Yeah.
So I understand it, but at the same time, it's not just a quarterback game. It's a whole team game.
Oh, yeah. Just imagine in overtime playoffs, someone come up, score a touchdown, they're all happy, whatever. The other team comes back, scores a touchdown, goes for 2, gets it, ball game. That's when you start getting like, hey, that's a little bull crap, that's a little this, that's a little that.
First of all, let's talk about that game against Buffalo and Chiefs. Not talk about in depth or anything.
Yeah.
But Chiefs went down in 14 seconds and scored a touchdown. And you're blaming the overtime rule? Yeah. Blame your defense.
Exactly.
They blame your defense. 14 seconds and they went down and got a field goal. Yeah. Blame your defense. Don't blame the coin toss. Yeah. Your defense messed up with 14 seconds, and your defense messed up when Mahomes had to scale the whole field. It's dumb. I'm not saying the rule's dumb, but I'm saying it's dumb that you blame just the coin toss over some losses.
And and we say it all and we kind of got into not an argument or whatever, but it's just like a quarterback sits there and says, all right, here's the ball game with a minute left. I got you the lead. Defense, go win it for me. Or go win this. Then they don't, and then it's on the quarterback. No, it's on the defense too. You had the lead. Go get a stop, or in this case, overtime. Go get a stop. Go give your offense the ball back. And
for example, Raiders or Chargers, last game of the season, both those defenses, both those offenses working hard all game. I hate the Chargers, but respect to them for they're
everybody
busting their ass. Everyone on that field was busting their ass that game. Put on a show in Vegas. And when it went to overtime, there was no coin that determined the game. The defenses were determining the game. Yeah. And the defenses played their asses off on both sides of the ball. And that made it an entertaining game because both teams played their ass off.
Oh, yeah.
Not because the coin toss, not because the quarterbacks were... Because they had Herbert. Herbert's a dominating quarterback in this league. And they still couldn't get it done because the Raider defense was playing hard.
Timely stops. We got timely stops. We would always give up... In that one, I remember we gave up the big play to Keenan Allen or Mike Williams. One of those two.
Mike Williams, and then Merrick went and stopped him on the big play.
Got it. And then, we got the what's called... And then they kicked the field goal to tie it. Yeah. And then we come back down and get our big play and stuff. But
I'm saying this rule's like... You're still going to have great games without this rule. You're still going to have... You're seeing these defenses bust their ass and these quarterbacks bust their ass for a whole 5 quarters in that Raider Charger game. Respect to both teams. And it was just a fun game.
Do you think there could be a chance where this... In overtime, in the playoffs, you see a game score go crazy over 100 points? 50-something to... 57-50.
I mean, the more the game goes, the more tired defenses get.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you don't want this to be a college game. You don't want this to sit there and be, hey, it's going 21-21 into overtime.
If you see a high-scoring game, going into the 40s and 50s in a regular time, then you hit OT. Defenses are tired. Defenses are obviously the defenses aren't good. So they might just keep scoring all day.
Exactly.
It's gonna make for extra football, and that team who wins might have a disadvantage the next week in the playoffs because they're tired.
Because it's playing an extra quarter, quarter and a half maybe now.
They could play 3 quarters now, 4 quarters if they need to. But obviously that's a crazy circumstance. But it's a crazy time in the NFL right now, you could see something like that happening.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that right now. Man, we could see a very, very, very high scoring playoff game. Because of this rule and this crazy numbers all across the board. Yeah.
I think that's about it for today. Overtime rules, the Raiders being 18th and finishing last in the West.
8.5.
8.5, only getting 8.5 wins. That's about it for today. We talked about those couple things. That was kind of fun talking about those things. The Raiders will be the division champs at the end of the year. Prove everyone wrong. Everyone, place your bets on the Raiders. Place your bets on the Raiders. They're going to win more than 8.5 games no matter what.
I think the way it's set up in a 7th, because we play 17 games, right?
Yeah.
I think we would go over 8.5. I don't got Denver winning more than 10 games.
No.
Chargers 10.5 maybe. Chiefs no. So I would put the over for us and Chargers and the under for Chiefs and Broncos.
I like that. That's gutsy. That's a gutsy call.
We should
right
go
there.
to Vegas and make that bet, Art.
Let's go. No, we gotta make that. We gotta make that bet. And the Raiders are still 40-1 to win the Super Bowl. So that's good odds. Good odds right there if you win.
No, yeah.
And the Raiders, I think they have a team to make a run and go to the Super Bowl. I mean, the Bengals did it last year. The Raiders can do it this upcoming year with, Devontae Adams getting added to the squad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys for the next episode, and go Raiders.
Go Raiders.